Welcome back to Playspot. As you requested, guys, you said I have to bring Mesh again on the line. Mesh is here, guys. Today we're gonna talk about Dupri agreeing on leaving Kaizer Chiefs. We're gonna talk about Admes's game. Is it going to be a win for Kaizer Chiefs or a lose? And also we're gonna talk about them saying that they are planning to stop this guy Silva. So let's go into it and hear what Mesh has for us today. Mesh, how are you, my brother?
Mula, how are you, my friend?
I'm very, 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 very good, bro. So, man, let's not waste time for the viewers. We don't have time, but let's just try to chop everything now. So, man, what's your take on the game coming on Kaizer Chiefs versus Al Masry? And I heard that this Al Masry coach is actually planning on stopping Silva, and I'm asking myself that is Silva going to start with the game?
That's an interesting approach by the opposition that they already know, But firstly, just want to greet the listeners
Yeah.
and everyone at home. Yeah, this game for us is going to be very difficult in terms of, it's a first CAF game, a CAF competition game since the last one. A lot of pressure on the team. How do we approach the game? Do we get nerves, or how do we play in general?
Yes.
But all in all, I'm going in with positivity. I think that we are the better team coming into this fixture. Even if we're playing away, I believe that we'll still be the better team. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult one in terms of tactics. The coach also is already expressing, how he intends to deal with the team, so that they've done their homework. They're still doing their homework, and they're doing well also in the league, in the Egyptian league.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting at number 5, in their own league, and I think that's a good number compared to the teams that they are fighting against, which is Al Ahly, Pyramids, FC, and Zamalek, and another team. So I think that we as a team are gonna be going into a fixture that is an eye opener for Abumtutuzi Shabalala, Abo Vilagazi, like to feel how it is to play at a top competition. So a lot of the players also that have been missing out on Bafana. So I think that this moment is going to be very big, in terms of boosting the player confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be a difficult game, but from our end, it's going to be enjoyable also.
Yes. Okay. So do you see this thing of them saying that they need to stop Silva is not a mind game, or else they are actually nervous. They are afraid of him.
I think Silva, they're very correct to say that they need to deal with him because he's the top goal scorer. I believe so. And he's played very few minutes, but he already has 4 goals. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that they must not undermine him very. He is the best striker that we have right now in terms of stats. That's what the stats are saying. So they're very correct in terms of saying that they'll have to find a way to deal with him, because should Silva it start, they will really, really need to find a way to deal with him, because he's very dangerous. He shoots from far. He can turn and shoot. His eye is always focused on the net.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a dangerous player. Not
Mm-hmm.
the most attractive player, not the most skillfully gifted player or technically gifted player, but someone who knows his job, and his job is to take that ball and direct it to the net.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I understand now. You're agreeing with what this team from Egypt is saying. So, man, if you can go also and asking you about Dupria, man. Some fans were saying it is good for him to go overseas, and some of them are not happy. And we have the Roma saying that this guy, he agreed to leave on Kaizer Chiefs on this coming January.
Yeah, look, I always believe that if there's a better opportunity than Chiefs, a player must go, because remember, we are individuals also. We
Mm-hmm.
are looking out for our families, and being on the bench, the people end up forgetting you. And you don't want that to happen to you also when you're still, fairly a young age. At Dupria's age, he still has a lot of years in him to play, and I think that he can do that at high level. And also when you look at Silva now, coming in, bossing his way, even though he's not playing every minute, but he's got the goals. And then you ask yourself, okay, Dupria, why doesn't he have the goals then? Duba also is there. You've got um, Morris also has fallen out of the pecking order. You've got Mayo also, and you still have Bartman, and then you still have Ikotaro. So those are a lot of strikers, but mainly my cry with Dupree is not that he's not maybe having the best time in terms of scoring. My cry with Dupree is that he's being misused, at Chiefs. The coaches, they look at his speed and then they think winger, whereas he still needs to be the central striker, but then I don't know how people think sometimes they feel like if somebody's short, they cannot be a striker because, you'd have to be launching the balls and headers and whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
there's other ways to bring the ball to the striker, especially if they've got speed. You can play long balls, you can play um, long balls like on the floor, through balls, passes, you know, all of those things. You can do those things and he will fetch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same with Solomon's. When you see him on the flank, he easily owns the flank or enjoys the flank, even when he's not also very skillful, but he's able to use his speed to his advantage. But then with Dupree, there needs to be an end product, and because he's an attacker, there's more responsibility on him giving a better end. So with that be happening, we've seen players that haven't been playing well, they sit down. Villagazi comes in, he plays well, he plays a second game in a row. Cross comes in, he does well. Despite Marco also having done well, he maintains the position. Solomon's also, we saw, he maintained the position. And we've also seen with other players that have been put in the team and they took their chance. The coaches seem to replay them. So with Dupree, maybe it's possible also that he fell down the pecking order for the coaches. And if there's a better opportunity for him, especially if it's overseas, I think he should go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a good opportunity for the team to create some financial gain out of Dupree. It would have been a fault if they sold him for that 30 million, 40 million a season or two ago to a team in Portugal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very, very, very clear on whatever you are saying right now, and to those who are listening right now, I think it's very, very, very simple. So, look, man, I wanted to ask you the last question where we talked about the London, and some fans are saying that now it's a good time for him to join, and for me, I feel like he still has quality to be what do you call it, to be on the good and on a bigger team. You understand? So what do you say also on your tech? Should Kaizer Chiefs bring him on January? Because I heard that they actually revisit the interest of him.
I don't know the criteria of the scouting department if it's still the same, trying to bring in players who are South African from overseas
Mm-hmm.
because they're fighting the prices, that are found in the local market. So I don't know if the criteria is still going to be the same in terms of how that's their approach in bringing players. But as in for me, in terms of Ndlondo as a player and his talent, I I it will be a good signing, but I don't know if it's gonna be a signing that's going to put pressure on Mthethwa or Cele. And for me, I was really looking for someone that will put pressure on those two because there seems to be a given thing. And the given thing is that there is no better destroyer in the team than Teto. But also there's a given that there is no better ball player in our midfield than Cele. So those two have certain qualities that set them a little bit above the other players. Now you also have Mabowe, then you have Ndlovu as well, and then you also have Mabasa that you're trying to bring in. So for me, I think that adding Ndlovu, who's also more defensive in a way, or more like an 8-6-8 role, you cannot. It's not easy to put him at that number 10 role. So for me, I would prefer a player who is a little bit more attacking minded
Mm-hmm.
at this current moment because we are loaded with the players that are more defensive minded.
Mm-hmm. I know, Mesh. I think you have just nailed it. So your last suggestion as a fan, you are saying no to Ndondo.
I'm not saying no, but I'm saying that we appreciate him.
Okay, guys, that was Mesh on the line right now, and you have requested for him. apparently I need to negotiate a good deal with him so that he will come all over and over and again. Mesh, we really thank you for your input on the channel, bro. We really appreciate your support, man.
Thank you, Mula.
Thank you, guys. Let us meet.